I feel like too many of us live in the past or have lived in a memory for way too long. And I know how hard it can be to move on from a specific relationship, a person, a situation, or a job. But I also know that the longer you keep living in the past, the longer you're preventing something new to come into your life. You cannot keep being stuck in the past and looking back and expect to live a different life and expect to experience new things because there's just no space for them. There's no space for the new to come in. No matter if your past was good or bad, it has already happened. You cannot take it back. And you don't have to keep reliving the negative experiences that you had. You don't have to intentionally keep going back to them and making yourself suffer. And I'm telling you all of this because I kept on going back to past relationships, to painful experiences, and I kept on making myself miserable. When in reality, I had a choice. The choice to stay stuck in the past or to focus on the present and what I could do now to make things better for myself and to focus on the positive things going on in my life. Because if we think about it, there is always something positive going on in our lives. If only we were not so busy living in the past and missing all the good stuff happening right now. I know that you may have had some tough experiences in the past. You may have been fired, and now you may be living in a fear that this could happen again at your current job. And every day you go to work feeling fearful that you may get fired again. And you start watching every word that you say, every move that you make, every action that you take. And this is super exhausting because you're letting your fear of the past control you. But the fact that something happened in your past does not mean that it will happen ever again. It does not mean that it needs to repeat. And I want you to remember that. I've noticed that if I fixate on something, especially if it is something negative, I keep getting more of it. And if I keep on focusing on the negative experiences from my past, I keep getting similar experiences now. And if I want this to stop, I need to change my focus. I need to focus on the positive things going on in my life rather than focusing on the past events, on the events that hurt me. If I want to allow new, fresh experiences to happen into my life, I have to be present right here, right now, and stop reliving my past because this is not doing me any good. This is not helping me to move forward. This is just keeping me stuck. You know, in order to get new, fresh experiences happening to me, I had to clean my head from all the negative thoughts that I used to have. You may have been in a painful relationship with a controlling, manipulative, or abusive partner, and you may have shut down yourself now because you're afraid that the same story may repeat again, and you're not allowing new people to enter into your life. But darling, the fact that something happened in your past, the fact that you had one or two painful relationships does not mean that this pattern needs to continue. You have every chance of having a happy, a fulfilling relationship. Never forget that. Just because something happened, it does not mean that it needs to keep happening. Just because you are taken advantage of, bullied, hurt, or treated unfairly by others, sometimes the closest ones to you, it does not mean that you need to keep on suffering. You don't have to keep reliving your past in your head over and over again. In fact, it is often your mind that constantly keeps replaying a past negative event that causes substantially more suffering than the actual event itself. You don't have to play the victim role anymore. You are a resilient survivor. It is within your power to choose how to view bad things that have happened to you in the past. It is your right and is also the key to freedom. We should also stop comparing people in our lives. If you had a great relationship with somebody in the past who is no longer a part of your life, you don't have to compare them with your new partner, because this way you're not giving your new partner a chance to show you their true potential. You're not giving your new relationship a chance. Just because it is different, it does not mean that you won't be happy. Allow yourself to move on from the past and give yourself a chance to be happy in your new relationships, in your new found freedom. Freedom from your past. We all have a past, but it does not mean that it has to define us. you can let go of the past and move forward with your life, allowing yourself to heal and make progress without being weighed down by the baggage of your history. Your past experiences can be painful reminders, or they can be the starting point of a self-empowerment. Today, you get to choose who you want to be. Will you be someone who is defined by their past, or will you be someone that transcends it? I choose to transcend my past. I choose to be present and focus on what matters. Focus on the now and start living in the present instead of keep living in the past, because this is not giving me any good. Use your past as a reference guide, as a source for lessons or positive memories, and use them if you have to. But don't keep holding on to the past without giving yourself a chance to live in the present. Just because something happened in the past, it does not mean that it will happen again. Just because you got fired in the past, it does not mean that you'll get fired in the future. Just because you had painful experiences in your relationships does not mean that you won't have a happy and fruitful relationships in the future. Allow yourself to gain new, fresh experiences and to build the life that you want. Your past doesn't have to hold you back. Your past doesn't have to define you or your future. Focus on the present, focus on the now, and what you can do about building the life that you want. You know, we don't have to keep holding on to past negative thoughts, to past negative experiences. The thing is that our thoughts create our feelings, and our feelings create our realities. Everything works like a mirror. Our feelings mirror our thoughts, and our realities mirror our feelings. So if we want to change our realities, we need to change our thoughts. And we don't have to keep repeating the same destructive thoughts that we used to have in the past. We don't have to keep reliving the same negative experiences that we used to have. Never forget that you are more powerful than you think, especially now that the new earth has emerged, especially now that we enter in a new level of consciousness. We can manifest faster than ever if only we get to choose more positive thoughts and feelings, which in turn will create more positive realities. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next videos. Bye!